about offences and penalties, right? In India, right? What is levied by FSSAI? So why are penalties levied on the FPOs, right? Because FSSAI, the Food Standard Act of 2006, it was basically established to actually consolidate all the laws that is related to food and to establish a Food Safety Standard Authority of India, which is FSSAI, right? So before that, like before 2006, there was not really any rule that was prevailing in India in terms of food, or in terms of, even it is, I would say, in terms of many other countries like the US, the UK, we are still in a very primitive stage, but then we are getting there. Lot of changes happening in FSSAI, a lot of new regulations coming in. So I think we are going in the right direction. So basically, FSSAI has taken this FSSAI penalties to regulate articles of food safety for their manufacture, storage, distribution, sale, and import. Okay. So also export if you are manufacturing. So when it is export, it is nothing but you are manufacturing in India, right? Why? Because to ensure availability of safe and wholesome food for human consumption. Therefore, they regulate the entire system to ensure that all of this is in place and all of this is covered by all the food business operators. So let's look at some of the terminologies that we'll be hearing very often when we are, going through this entire series, right? Talking about offences and penalties. So one among them is substandard food, right? What do you mean by substandard food? So let's say you know about midday meals, right? Which is given in government schools. So the other day there was a news coming in about substandard food being served to kids in UP, right? So what happens is there is no really, every day there are changes in FSSAI. There are new regulations that are coming in. So substandard food is something when the quality of the food is very lower compared to what is actually being expected by the FSSAI regulations, right? Misbranded food. So when you are saying, let's say if you are saying, so Maggie is one of the examples, right? You say that this has 20% less sugar, or it is all natural, right? There is no added sugar. But when you actually look at the back of the label in your product, you see that there is actually sugar in it. There is actually, lot of sugar. There are other items like caffeine. So if you see Pepsi or any Coca-Cola drink, right, you see that there is written that added caffeine, right? So you have to ensure that you are saying all that in the label that is given. That is a misbranded food. When you're talking about misleading food, I'm sure all of you would have heard about the Bonvita controversy that has been going on, right? If you all know about Food Farmer, right? He has been talking about the Bonvita label that was, misleading for consumers, right? So, and they have won the case. So things like this, right? Consumers are being aware of what is happening because of Instagram, because of LinkedIn, right? Consumers are getting to see new faces of the companies that are serving food. So your product that is being in the market, your product that is there in the shelf of the shops, right, is very, very much relevant. So the label that you give to your consumer is very important. So misleading food ads is one of them. Extraneous matter. So when we talk about extraneous matter, I'm sure many of you would have heard there was a case that was going on with Blinkit, right? There was a rat which was there in the bread packet, right? I haven't given that picture here, but this is another example. This is a zip tie, right? This is a zip tie which you usually see for tying up any packet or anything that you get, right, in the market. Usually these food delivery guys, they pack the bags with the zip ties and they deliver it to your home, right? So you see that the zip tie is inside the bread, right? This is an extraneous matter, correct? So this is another example. Next is unhygienic and unsanitary. So I'm sure all of you know what is unhygienic and unsanitary, right? This is just as an example. So unhygienic and unsanitary, possessing adulterants, right? If you have adulterants, if you are using adulterants in your products, if you are storing adulterants, right? What is the method? So FSSAI says that you have to store allergens in particular way. You have to ensure that you are saying whatever allergens is being used properly and disclosing them in your label, right? Next would be unsafe food. When you talk about unsafe food, it is nothing but whatever you claim, right, in your packet, in your label, is not really safe for human consumption. It can be anything. It can have microbial load, heavy microbial load. It can have some chemical contamination. It can have some, other contamination, physical contamination, right? So anything to do with unsafe for human consumption is unsafe food. When we talk about seized items, so seized items are basically when FSSAI authority comes into your manufacturing unit or your storage unit or any FBO, and they seize an item from your from your premise. It can be anything. You can be a catering unit, you can be a manufacturing unit, it does not matter, right? They can come in any day and seize your item, right? They have all rights to do that, and you cannot, say that why are you doing this, or you cannot question them, right? I will come to what happens if you do that later. So these are the terminologies in this. If you have any doubts, you can, put it in the chat box and we'll take the question, right? So now to start with offenses and penalties. It's very clearly written here. This is also available in FSSAI website if you want to go and verify it. So selling food not of nature or substance or quality demanded. What do you mean by that, right? So there is a particular standard or a quality that is given by FSSAI in terms of all food, right? All except few, okay? I'll come to that except few later. But then everything mostly it is being defined very clearly in FSSAI. If you do not sell according to that particular deemed requirement, there is a fine up to 5 lakhs, right, for license holders, right? License holder. If you are a petty food business operator, that is, if you have a registration, then it is up to 25,000. Okay. So license holders and petty food businesses. So up to 5 lakhs for that. We spoke about substandard food. If you are using substandard food, then up to 5 lakhs. If you have misbranded food, up to 3 lakhs. If you are having any misleading advertisement, you can be given a penalty of up to 10 lakhs, right? Very self-explanatory. Extraneous matter, up to 1 lakh. Failure to comply with FSO's direction, right? Food safety officer. FSO is a food safety officer who is assigned by FSSAI in a particular district or particular region to ensure that the area, your manufacturers in the area are able to regulate all the food business operators in that area, right? If let's say today FSO has come into your premise and they have issued a notice to you and you are not able to comply to those regulations, or if you are not able to revert back to them or not comply to those, then a fine of up to 2 lakhs can be levied on you, on the FPO, right? Unhygienic and unsanitary processing or manufacturing of food, right? Up to 1 lakh. So moving on, possessing adulterants not injurious to health, right? If you have any adulterants which are not injurious to health, which you are not storing properly, using it in your product, right? Which can be harmful to people, but it is not injurious to health, then you get a fine of up to 2 lakhs. If it is injurious to health, right, then in that case, it can be up to 10 lakhs, right? Contravention for non-specific penalty is provided. So what does this mean? When I said that most of the food product specifications are given in FSSAI, there are certain food products which are not specified, right? So when we talk about some proprietary product, right, it's a very new product that you have developed or you have, marketed in the market for consumers. Then FSSAI will not be able to tell you, right, this is a standard, this is not a standard. But ultimately, they can question you if something goes wrong or if they find the product that is not according to the requirement. So in that case, if it is not specified, it is up to 2 lakhs, right? In terms of unsafe food, where it does not, so let's say if you go and have a food or you buy a food from a manufacturing unit from a store, right? The manufacturer, and if something happens to you, but you don't really get an injury out of it, then it is an unsafe food and 6 months of imprisonment on up to 1 lakh of penalty can be levied. If the food is unsafe and non-grievous injury, right, which is not harmful to you, it can be treated easily. In that case, a year imprisonment and 3 lakhs of penalty can be levied on you. If it is a grievous injury, right, it is harmful to you and it's very difficult for you to recover, you are not able to continue your day-to-day activity because of that, of the food that you have consumed, or anything has happened to you while you are working in the manufacturing unit, right? 6 years of imprisonment and up to 5 lakhs is what penalty is, right? In case of unsafe food, so let's say if you go and have, so there was this, the shawarma case that was going on, right? Any food that you eat outside, okay, or you buy from somewhere and you are able to say that because of that someone unfortunately passes away, there's a 7-year imprisonment to life or to life imprisonment, okay? Not less than 10 lakhs will be levied on you. So this is very serious, right? Because it's taking someone's life because of the food that they are consuming. It is very serious. Other than that, if they find that interfering with seized items, right? I told you that FSSAI can come and seize your items. If they seize your items, maybe during export or maybe in your manufacturing unit or in your catering unit, if you interfere with those seized items, then 6 months imprisonment and up to 2 lakhs of penalty can be levied on you. If there are false information, right? So let's say false information, we were talking about the Bonvita case. If there is a false information you are giving on your label or your ad, or false information is given, you're claiming anything wrong in your product, up to 3 months of imprisonment and up to 2 lakhs can be levied. Obstructing or impersonating a FSO, right? So let's say today you are looking out for someone who can help you with the license, right? You are worried that your license, there's a inquiry that is coming in your license. You want to go to someone who will be able to help you with your license. So if you are trying to reach out to the person, they say that, yes, I am a FSO, right? I am from FSSAI. In that case, up to 3 months of imprisonment and up to 1 lakh can be the penalties, right? This applies to anybody who is impersonating the FSO, right? It does not matter if you are a FBO or not. If you are impersonating or trying to obstruct the work of an FSO, in that case, this is levied on you. Carrying out business without license. So let's say today you want to start a new manufacturing unit or a new catering unit or a restaurant, right? You have applied for your license, right? But for some reason, for whatever reason, your license has not come in yet. And you have started your operations already. And the FSO in that area comes to find out that you are carrying out business without a license because you have not got your license number. The license number is only issued once the license you have got, right? Before that, if you start your business, it can be any business, then up to 6 months imprisonment and up to 5 lakhs is levied on you, right? The subsequent offenses, meaning if you commit any offense more than one, right? More than one. So twice, thrice, anything more than that, right? So twice the punishment, meaning if you have already got a punishment, the same punishment will be given okay, of first conviction if the first punishment was at the maximum, right? Daily fines of up to 1 lakh for offense that is continuing. So means that FSSAI wants you to correct the issues that has been given by them. If you continue to do that, then daily fines of up to 1 lakh for offense that is being continued can be levied. And also cancellation of your license. They have all the rights to cancel your license, right? Compensation in case of injury or death of consumer, right? If anything happens in that case, in the death of a consumer because of the food that is being consumed, not less than 5 lakhs in case of death, and up to 5 lakhs in case of various. I think this was covered previously, but then I'm covering it again. Up to 1 lakh for all other injuries. Amount to be paid within 6 months in case of death, and to be paid within 30 days, right? So I think this is pretty much the offenses and penalties, and is covered in case of FSSAI and other FBO. If you have any questions, if you want to ask anything, please go ahead or put it in the chat box, and I'm happy to take them. If you have any doubts, please go ahead. Okay, I don't think there are any doubts, right? In that case, if you would want to share from which industry you are and you want to share any experience of yours, right? If you have faced anything of this sort, being in the consumer side or even on the side of an FBO, do you think, anything should be changed, or do you think, so it is a, conversation maybe we can have.
Hi Molly, this is Jonaki from T Express.
Hi.
Hi. So I think we have contacted before as well for other services
Yes.
too. So just one query that I had, we were mentioning different penalties that were like decided on the basis of different criteria, right? That
Right.
if we are not advertising properly, or if we are not adhering to FSSAI regulations. So just wanted to know, for different specification, we have undergone 20 of them. So are there any specification ki all this shouldn't be done, or all this have to be done, or like how will we get to know that this can't be put on our packaging or on a product? Different adulteration ka I understood, but yeah, there were some health hazards and all that. So how as an FBO we are supposed to understand that what all is prohibited and what all is permitted?
Right. So to answer your question first, when you say health hazard, right? Anything which is a health hazard should not be there in your product, right? It does not matter if it is a physical hazard or a microbial, biological hazard or a chemical hazard, right? It should not be there in any context, right? If you want to specifically know what your product should contain in terms of nutritional value, right? That is something different. So, right, that is not, it will be considered as a substandard food, right? In that case, right?
So just one query. Depending on different products, for example, we deal with tea. So we know that yes, this all can't be a part of the process or the product, but we were talking about allergens before, and there are some allergens that we use, and for that we are also putting a caution on the label. So even if after that the consumer consumes that product, will be held responsible for that?
So see, if you say that you have, to the best of your knowledge, mentioned everything on the label, right? You are not, I would say that, complying to the regulations. So there are regulations, right? Let's say if you are saying this contains allergen, where should it be written? So let's say if you say this contains allergen or this contains nuts or something like that, right?
Mm.
So where should it be written? Is it visible to your customer or your consumer? Is it
Oh.
written at the back in a very small letter so that no one can read it, right? So,
Great.
so things like that, right? You think that it is, you have written it, but actually no one is able to read it, right?
Right.
So that is why it is very important that your label is covering everything that is FSSAI has given.
All right. So
In
has
that,
FSSAI, sorry to interrupt you.
yeah,
Has FSSAI given any size regulations as well
yes,
for this
yes,
kind of?
yes.
All right. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so I think I'll move on to the next question. There are a lot of questions coming in quickly on the chat.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
please go ahead.
Madam, very good evening.
Yes, very
These points were very good, what you have been raised in the PPT, the penalties and clauses. The
good.
thing is that you know that every people who is the FBO, food safety business operator, some
Mhm.
people might not take the license. Example, a biryani point or somewhere else.
Right.
Okay, on the roadway when we move out, it looks good, but he
Mhm.
doesn't know. Suppose he is supposed to take the license or not. In
Mhm.
that case, when we go and consume a biryani of 200 rupees,
Mhm.
and I feel some inside that I see any strip or somewhere, and it pricks to my mouth, and how
Mhm.
could I approach to the FSSA, because he does not have a license as well.
Okay, so there's a helpline number in FSSAI website. If you go
Yes.
to the helpline number,
Okay.
you can go and lodge your complaints there that this person is running a business without a license, and they can very well come in and penalize that person for whatever they have done, right, for the offense.
Yeah, but in the helpline, it is asking for the FSSA license number as well, and the area, what is the name, and all particularities details. So he might not be willing to tell. Then how could I show the I have consumed? Because he does not pay me any what to say receipt or something. Consuming a 150 rupees of
Correct,
biryani, he
correct.
will
I
not give
get
me any
that. See,
proof of evidence.
correct. I understand. This is a problem, right? And because there we have so many innumerable number of food joints that are coming up
Yes.
every day on the street, right? It's very difficult.
Yeah.
So imagine just the condition. I would say in FSSAI there are very less number of people who are actually there to monitor all this. Okay,
Okay.
to be very honest, like that is how they work, right? Government agency, government authority, they have very less number of people. They have highly
To
loaded
monitor all this. Yeah. Yeah. I
monitor all
understand.
this, right? So you try to find a number. If you can reach out to them, there is a number where you can, try to reach out to them without a license number. Also, if I am able to find out anything, then I will share it with you, right? I didn't get your name, sir.
This is Prem Kumar. Prem. I'm working as a operations and food quality.
Okay.
So I come across when I go to audits, I see number of
Yes.
misbranded and all these things.
Mhm.
So I get all my experiences.
So
But
if you see
this case,
misbranded, right, I would say immediately lodge a complaint because misbranded
yeah,
is something, if you are not able to lodge a complaint with FSSAI,
even
you can lodge it with consumer forum, right? You can lodge a
yes, madam.
complaint with consumer.
Yes, madam. But for this, if you wish, I can give you an example. A few weeks back, um, catering industry, who is serving
Mhm.
to some of the big company, software company, a
Mhm.
catering industry.
Mhm.
He has a sub vendor in the sense client is a example. A is a software company and
Mhm.
B is a catering company. A is a software company, B is a catering company. For the
Correct.
B, there is a purchasing items will be raw materials, everything. It has been provided by even the B has given a contract to C. Okay,
Mhm.
the C person has bought some masala. In the
Mhm.
masala, we found pest inside the masala,
Okay.
before or expiry within the time. So unfortunately, we haven't take the video or something. He's having only 3 packets. In one packet, we found the same thing. This
Mhm.
is from the region of Chennai.
Okay.
So we finally found the bag, packet bag. Customer care will be at the rate of so and so masala. We drop the mail with so and so batch number. I asked to drop in this way with the details what you got, which kind of material you purchased, which grams, and pay slip you mail to the company. After mailing to the company, they have reverted after 1 day or something. We asked them, we want your explanation because we are the B company, no? We
Mhm.
got a strict warning from the A company. A was asking us what you have done, what the file you have done, what the legal activities you have taken. When we were the B, no, we can't unable to go and climb onto him, and
See,
they
it's a very
doesn't turn
simple
up back
thing,
to us.
right? I understand, right? It's a very simple thing. How do you choose your vendors? Is there a process?
Approved vendors we are
Right?
supposed to choose, but every management
See,
chain, supply chain
that's something
does
that we
not have
don't
this,
have a
no.
control over, right? We don't have
Yes,
control
they
over,
don't
but
follow
what we
the
have
food
to do
quality.
is
Yes,
we have
every
to
food
try
safe.
push, right? Our management to
Yes.
ensure that how do we choose our vendors?
Yes, the problem, madam, now here, being a quality department, we couldn't be satisfied the client, and the pressure is from the B, in the B company. I stay in the B, and the pressure is from the B company. B company was asking the RCS and everything, that he has to give the RCS and everything for the A. Now the supporting person was not the B, even the B was not supporting, the C was not even, he's saying that we don't have any contract with you. You got this, all this. Now, how will this a person, I should make a
Even I don't
customer.
have an answer for that, right? Even I don't have an answer for that. Maybe
Yes.
you can, write to us. I will
But
get my email ID, right?
yeah,
If you have any questions, you can you of course write back to us, and we can take it from there.
yeah.
I will take some other questions. Thank you so much, Mr. Prem, for
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
yeah.
I
Thank
got
you
to
so
know.
much
Yeah,
for
thank you.
sharing, and thank you, Ms. Janaki, also for for your question. I didn't.
Sure, sure.
Your wish. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So I think there's a next question from Mr. Pranav. My product is not listed, sir. Okay, so if your product is not listed, right? I said that let's say if it's not listed, you abide by to the regulation that is given. It is very general, right? The FSSAI labeling guidelines is very general, right? If you so we also have a service that we provide. We do a label review, right, from our company, being a consultant. We do label reviews. If you want us to review a label, we would be more than happy to do that, Mr. Pranav. You can contact us. I have given my email ID. If you want my number also, I will share it here.
Hi, I'm Pranav here. Definitely, I understood what you said, but my main concern is, what do I name the product? See, for example, if it's wheat flour, it is maida. If it's whole wheat flour, it's atta. But another product that contains equal amount of fiber that is there in atta, but is not a stone ground or processed the same way as atta is, how can I go about naming it? Can I still call it a whole wheat flour? It has the same fiber, it has the same amount of bran and endosperm, what do you call it, composition.
So
but it is not a traditionally milled form of atta. So how do I go about naming it, or think about naming it?
Correct. So there are certain products, right, which does not come under the traditional categorized, FSSAI categories, right? So in that case, if it is something which is not, falling into those categories, we call it proprietary products.
Okay.
Right? Those are proprietary products. If you want to know what you can claim from that, that is something that you will have to get it checked by a regulatory team, because it's very specific, and I am not the person who can answer your question, to be very honest, because I don't have the knowledge or the know-how of being able to say what is the right claims that you can make from that product.
Okay.
You can reach out to us. We'll be able to help you on that, right?
Sure, ma'am. And another question from me itself. I know I'm skipping a question, but I'll just finish off. In context of allergens that we are talking, wheat is an allergen itself. So when I'm doing retail packing of, for example, maida, do I have to still mention allergen as wheat?
No. So wheat as such is not an allergen.
Okay.
Right? Gluten is allergen. Right? So again, I would say that I am not the right person to answer your question, because I'm here to just give you the insights on everything, what is the regulation saying. But if you want to get in detail of it, our team is there.
Generally, as an offense, would I be caught if I don't say contains gluten? Because any wheat product has gluten. So I was just understanding from the offense's point of view, if I'm missing something, but my product is such that there is no wheat flour without gluten. It's as simple as that. So is it still important to mention? And if I am caught, how do I go about dealing with the offense? That's my relation to the whole.
You are caught you are caught by FSSAI if they have given you a notice, right? There is nothing you can do about it. There is nothing you can go to court. You can fight with them, right? But at
Okay.
times the court will be, you know how what happens with Bonvita.
Right.
They are a big
Yeah.
company, right? You know, they have all the lawyers in place. They have everything in place. Ultimately, what happened? They lost, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I think what FSSAI or the FSSAI is trying to do is make sure that the consumer is aware and safe of the food that they're consuming, right? At the end of that's it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. Next question, Neha. Does gum filled with lollipops come under proprietary food? Again, I'm not the right person to answer your question, Neha, but if you want to get in touch with us, if you want to know how you can categorize your products in FSSAI on your license, we are happy to do that. We are happy to help you out. Please reach out to us, right? I have given my email ID. I'll also give my phone number quickly. You can reach out to us and we'll be able to help you. Right? Okay, next question. Okay, I think I answered this question of yours. Yeah, I think that's all. If there's nothing else, we can wind up. I think it was a very interactive session, and I enjoyed the session because okay. If we have to share the PPT, I don't think that will be possible, but you can check out our YouTube channel. We will be putting this entire video up on our YouTube. So you can go and verify this, or cross-refer if you want to share it with anyone, you can do that. Maybe it will go up by next week, right? This entire video will go up in our YouTube channel, right? You can also follow us on Instagram. We keep giving a lot of insights there on Instagram, on LinkedIn at Food Safety Works, right? You can please go and check out our social media handles. And if you want to get back to us, please, you have our email ID. You have our website. You can go there and check out the services that we provide. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining in. Have a good day.